Hello and welcome to this Engerati interview. I'm Rose Bundock, Head of Commercial Content. Jessica Stromback joins us now, Senior Vice President and Chair at Joule Assets Europe. Jessica, good to see you again.
Very nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Joule Assets has shown a real commitment to the energy efficiency sector through your support of various EU-led initiatives. Yesterday there was an MEP vote which proposes increasing energy efficiency targets to 40% by 2030. I was just keen to know your opinion of that.
Well, obviously we're very excited. It's really important that government leads, and these targets, I know from the ground, can sound very fluffy and somewhat meaningless, but the reality is that when government makes a clear target, industry organizes accordingly and money comes in, etc. So having a target, whether it ends up being 40% or 35%, in itself is in fact a positive push for the industry. So we're extremely supportive.
Obviously those savings will be across the value chain from generation through to end use. And that's obviously the part you're working with ESCOs to help them achieve these targets. What kind of barriers do you think there are for small and medium-sized ESCOs to work towards those goals?
The barriers for small to medium-sized ESCOs are really one of a lack so far of support from, for example, the financial industry. There are still massive gaps. I mean, it's just amazing sometimes how difficult it will be for a small to medium ESCO to receive finance, to attract finance for really viable projects that from a bigger company or if it was a larger project would just be a no-brainer. So finance is an issue. The other issue is in fact that this is seen as a technology-driven industry, but it's really a sales-driven industry and a people-driven industry. And it can be difficult for small companies to both be great sales organizations and great technology providers. So there's a gap there with reaching the customer and acquiring the customer and then bringing that customer to finance. Whereas the technology and the actual projects and the actual savings are just sitting there on a plate.
So is energy efficiency still being categorised almost like renewable energy, or have regulators sort of caught up and realised it is a different beast?
I think they realise it's a different beast. How to address it as such is a very different question. There are a lot of attempts to create business models sort of artificially from the regulatory side. Some of those can work very well. For example, you have the white certificates in France and the old white certificate system in Italy have had really good impacts in some areas. But it's one of these things that really what you need is you need clear, functional regulations that create really clear business models and a real value for energy efficiency, and then really industry can take care of the rest. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. No.
So you've been supporting the SEAF project, so that's been a 2-year Horizon 2020.
We're the leaders of that.
I mean, I know it's coming to an end now, so reflecting back on those 2 years, what kind of, what successes, challenges have you had with it?
Well, what's been really exciting to see, and this I definitely did not expect, is that within only 2 years, the industry's really changed. When we began, we had a real struggle explaining to a surprising number of funds that energy efficiency is important, that it's the future, and that they should be willing to adjust their financial schemes according to what's in the market. And within 2 years, literally, we have had this spring a whole set of financial funds from Portugal to the UK that are now creating viable structures that are oriented to where the market is actually at. Now, of course, there's still work to do, but that is just going from, you might as well have been on the moon to something that's really workable is amazing. So there's really been progress when it comes to that. And I think that our solution's well placed to take advantage of it and bring those companies forward and help them no matter the size of their project and no matter the size that they are themselves. If they have a viable project, if they have a real offering, that we can help them really get that closed and get it done.
I know you've helped develop an online tool, eQuad,
exactly.
Which launched in March this year. Mm-hmm. What's the reception been like to that? What kind of impact is that having on the market?
It's a new offering, and I think the numbers speak for themselves. It's a new offering. We just launched it, and so far we've had 122 million euros worth of projects submitted. Now, the vast majority of those are not going to get finance, but we already have, several million worth that have been sent to investors, and the investors have said, yes, we're interested, and they're in the negotiation process now as we speak. That's after being commercial for a few months. That's a very good start, and I think what it points to is the need in the market that you have on this one side, or this potential on the ground of these small, creative, smart, hardworking, often family-run companies and funds that want to do the best they can, but that they're like this. And if you can bring the two sides together and help them translate their talents so that both sides can understand the other, you can really make things happen. And that's exactly what this tool does and what our entire process looks to do. Yeah.
I mean, Joule's obviously, you are very involved in this market. This SEAF is actually coming to an end. I know eQuad's carrying on, but what will we see you guys doing in the coming year?
So, our coming year, we have over 100 ESCOs that we're working with at different levels. We have a network of 28 financial funds that's worth well over somewhere between 1 and 2 billion. I've lost track now. And the job will be to really facilitate the market, really support those ESCOs in growing and getting their projects financed, and doing what we set out to do. Our mission is to remove finance as a barrier to energy efficiency. And we have this vision that what if money was not a barrier? What if money was only ever an enabler, and you just removed finance as a barrier to the growth of the green economy? So we're going to be working on making that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica Stromback. That brings this interview to a close, but you can watch more Engerati videos on energy efficiency on our YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in.